What up, what up? Back at it again. Real Fans Podcast, episode 46. It's 46. I'm your boy Gabe. That's JoJo. That's Julian. Julian, what's up? Say what's up to the people.
What's up?
I don't think the
JoJo,
people
where the hell
want to
you
say
been,
what's
man?
up to Julian. The people don't want to
Oh,
respond
man.
back to Julian. I'm back. What's going on, guys? I know I've been gone a little while. My little hiatus. Schedule's been crazy. But what's up, man? It's good to see ya back on the
Hey, we're
mic.
gonna talk
Let's talk sports.
a lot this week. It's going to be NBA Final Four, NFL. But let's start off with UFC 273. It's going to happen this Saturday, April 9th in Jacksonville. There's two headline fights, but the main one we're going to talk about today is the Sterling Yan. I think it's a rematch. Is that right, Julian?
Yes, it is.
Hold on, I got a question real quick. Why are they hosting this big event in Jacksonville, Florida?
They've
done it. They've done it multiple times.
So many other options, but they.
Well, one of the big
doing it in
things,
Jacksonville.
is during COVID, Jacksonville is the only city to offer the UFC a place to host the event, and because of that, Dana always said because of this, we're always going to make it an effort to come back to Jacksonville at least once a year or something like that, because they allowed him to set up an event there during COVID time.
Interesting.
Also wrestling. I think wrestling was open in Tampa and Jacksonville, I believe, during the
I'm not sure
dark
about
times.
wrestling, but I did know I did know Tampa for sure had the SmackDown and shit. I remember hearing about that. But yeah.
Oh, Julian, you driving up, man? You take that 7 hour?
If I knew about it soon, I found out about it last week. I didn't realize where it was. It wasn't a huge it's one of those where it's I don't know. I watch it, but it's not man, I gotta if I miss it, I miss it. It's not the end of the world. I'll watch the highlights later. But yeah, Gabe, last time we saw these two guys fight, me and you were watching it. It was the Israel Adesanya Jan Balchowicz card, and I think this was the co-main event. And I don't know if you remember, the dude I think he got kneed while he was down, and he got granted Peter Yan got he got disqualified stripped. And he got I guess his belt stripped and gave it to him. I'm kind of surprised how long it took to get a rematch on it. It seemed like it's been a while. Do you know when that was? It's almost a year ago, wasn't it?
That was March 2021.
Okay, yeah, so almost an entire year. I'm honestly predicting the same outcome that was happening last time, where Peter Yan was just absolutely obliterating him, winning that fight by a landslide, and the only reason why he lost is because of the blunder that he made. But he should get it back. He's going to go back. He's going to win it, and it should be quick and easy. As for the main event, Alexander Volkanovski, I cannot pronounce it right, and the Korean Zombie. Be honest, I haven't watched a lot of featherweight recently, so I don't know too much about this guy. Korean Zombie, that dude's I can't believe he's only 17-6. I feel like he's been in the UFC forever. As long as I can remember, this guy's pulled the most insane stunts. So it should be a pretty interesting fight. I couldn't necessarily give you predictions on that one, who's going to win, but I'm going to check it out, see how it is, and should be entertaining, I will say. Then you got Gilbert Burns on the third.
I've heard a lot of hype. Of the Korean Zombie. I've heard his name before. I can't remember seeing a specific fight. But it's kind of interesting. These last two fights.
Just look at his highlights on YouTube. He has some of the craziest. He has a submission. It's one of the hardest submissions to pull off. Man, what is that? What is it called? I don't remember what exactly it's called, but the submission is literally a submission on your entire body, and it's twisting your body a certain way.
Or a guillotine type?
No, guillotine's a choke. This is more
crab.
I don't know why I am drawing a blank on what it was, but I remember because it was such a big deal when he did it, because it's such a rare move to pull off. It's so difficult because it's one of those you can only really do against people who are very novice and don't really know what's happening. So to do it on somebody who's experienced and a black belt, like almost everybody in the UFC, is actually extremely impressive. And I remember he did it the week after he did it. I was doing jiu-jitsu at the time, and they brought over a guy who taught us how to do it, because it was in the MMA world, it was such a big deal that he did it. And yeah, he's an electrifying guy. I don't know if he still is because I would imagine he's getting up there in age. Um, but yeah, man, he's 35. Wow, okay.
Damn.
But yeah, I'll check out some of these fights if I can. It's not a super huge like card, but it's enough for the avid UFC fan to go and watch for sure.
Is there any fighter that you like looking forward to, or any matchups that you want to see in the UFC that you would make you tune in, or would make you join the fight versus Jacksonville?
Like I would definitely go see an Izzy fight. I would definitely go see an Izzy fight. The next UFC event, 274, Charles Oliveira versus Justin Gaethje. I would definitely go see that one.
The heavyweight.
Lightweight. I don't know. I guess it just depends. If it's a fighter I like. I don't know. I would have to look at it and specifically, like I said, like specifically, like if say the next pay per view was in I would go up there or Florida somewhere. I would go see it.
They should have had they should have had that Kobe Covington fight in Miami, the Masvidal Kobe Covington, because I think it was on 305 there. Should have been 305 and a 305.
Yeah. Oh shit, dude. This next card is actually really good. Actually, shit, I might have to check that. 274, Donald Cerrone, Joe Lozon, Michael Chandler, Tony Ferguson, Rose Namajunas, and then obviously Justin Gaethje, Charles Oliveira. That's going to be the card to watch for sure next week. And then, I wonder if Miami or like Dade County has some sort of like laws against like UFC or some sort of thing because they've never hosted one down here, which is very odd considering like almost every major like MMA gym is in South Florida. And for some reason, they've never hosted one down here.
I mean, we're in the middle of basketball season, so like doing it around this time, maybe when basketball season's over, when we get past the playoffs, maybe that's.
I don't think that's an issue for them. I mean, I think it's two different fans. They have Bad Bunny. Yeah,
Bad Bunny.
It's two different fans. I mean, even if it's like where the Panthers play over in like Broward County, like I don't know. It's just I wonder why they've never hosted one here. There must be some sort of thing. They've only ever hosted in Orlando. There must be some sort of like athletic commission or some bullshit, some nonsense. But yeah.
Since we're on the topic here, I'm here trying to research my boy Saeed Yokub, the kid I went to high school with that made it to the MMA. I'm trying to see when his next fight is. He was supposed to make his debut, I think January, but he had unfortunately caught COVID right before the fight, so it got canceled. But he signed like I don't know the exact details, like a 3 or 4 fight contract, something like that, with UFC, and it was official. So I'm here looking like, when is this guy's next fight? Excited to see him.
It's probably not scheduled yet.
It's not. I'm looking here, but damn, we're all waiting for that. And all room for the kid. I think it'll be
Julian,
super dope.
A lot of those younger guys, when they get signed new contracts, they get put to like preliminary, the early bouts. They're not coming in with championships off the rip, right? Like, how many fights usually is it till you get a title chance or whatever?
Nah, really depends on the fighter and what promotion they're coming from. Somebody like JoJo's friend who's coming from a smaller promotion, he's going to have to work his way up the ladder through UFC. But if you're coming from like Bellator or I think World Series of Fighting and you make a big splash over there, you get thrown in pretty quickly into the mix. Like Michael Chandler was one of those. Ben Askren was one of the. Ben Askren was like a huge pickup for UFC because he was like making moves over in Bellator. Then he came over here and obviously didn't do anything. I mean, he had one win, but he didn't really come to anything. So it really depends, but like on like where you're coming from, what your promotion is, and how big you are, and how much of a name you can make for yourself. But like if you're just trying to build up, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's really hard because I guess it depends on who you face a lot of the times. And how dominant you are. Because I mean, if you're dominant in 4 fights, say he does his 4-fight contract and he's just absolutely dominant, he might start getting pushed up into like the more the preliminary the prelims.
Main card fights or whatever.
I'll probably start out with the prelims and then maybe like at the top end of the prelims and then get into the main card because you have the really, really early fights that fans aren't even like allowed for. And you can only watch them on like, I think their Fight Pass thing. And then at like 8:00, that's when the prelims start. You can watch for free on Fox or ESPN, I think. and then it's the main card that's on pay-per-view. So you kind of like work your way up and kind of build up through. That's why you see a lot of these guys at the top. They're all kind of usually like over 30 a lot of the times. It's kind of rare to see people like in the 20s, because if you think about it, it's kind of a long it's kind of a long game. Like,
Yeah.
Because one, it's a lot of experience that you need. You just got to like have that experience. We'll have multiple black belts and all kinds of different martial arts, and also building up that resume. It just takes a lot, because you can only really do 2-3 fights a year is like the average for a lot of fighters. So just to do his 4-fight contract, it's going to take him like 2-3 years alone to do that. 2.5 years alone, and that's if he doesn't get like major injuries.
Facts.
So it just takes a while. It's one of those. It's like you gotta really make yourself show out to really make a name for yourself.
And at least win 50% of those fights to hopefully get a new contract, move up,
or just be electrifying. Like this Paddy the Batty fucking guy. I don't know if you've heard of him. It's like British kid. He's like taking over like social media and everything. It's like he's just some like fucking degen like British kid, and he's like absolutely dominating people. And he's like openly said that he doesn't want to go and face like tougher competition, because he says he don't get paid enough for that shit, and he'd rather just beat up on like low level guys and look like a hero, like some WWE shit.
Yeah,
like
that's actually pretty funny. Yeah, you could be a freaking social media hero and just make yourself look good, get all.
And he's just beating up on like low level fighters, and he's like a fucking god in like wherever the hell he's from, like Liverpool or some shit. I don't know where he's from exactly. But yeah, it's hilarious, because and I kind of respect. He's like, look, you guys ain't paying me fucking enough to go fight this guy. Give me some like bottom feeders, and I'll just beat their ass, like, and like talk a ton of shit. Like I'm saying, look him up on YouTube. He's got like the ugliest fucking bowl cut I've ever seen. Like it's just like like he looks like he's a part of the Beatles or some shit.
You said Paddy the Batty?
Yeah, Paddy the fucking body.
Wow.
Gabe, have you heard of it?
So let's transition into other news. NFL news keeps on going. It never stops. Even though they're not playing football, the news never stops. One of the biggest trades that happened over the weekend from last time we had recorded, Davante Parker got traded to the Patriots for let me see specifically, 223 third round pick. Parker and a 5th round pick for a 3rd round pick. Julian, how do you feel about the Dolphins making this move? Their wide receiver core, are they good? Are they good without Davante Parker?
How do you feel about it, Gabe? That's a good question.
You, Gabe.
It's a question for you. Culture.
You
so we kind of talked about it a little bit. I'm transitioning to you, see how your thoughts, but now you're going to press me. Okay. I never liked Davante Parker. In all the years, I think Davante Parker's been with the Dolphins for 7 years, and he was drafted 1st round. He was a 1st round draft pick for the Dolphins. He's only had one good year, and that was like I think the year before his extension, which is kind of funny because
that's usually how it happens.
Extension. Yeah, and so currently he was on the 3rd. He'll be going into his 3rd year of a 4-year contract, and it's not that expensive. But the trade itself, I'm not a fan of Davante Parker. I don't think he's going to be that good. He's a big target, terrible at separating. I think he's going to have one of the worst separating numbers in the league. But to get a 3rd round pick for next year, I was like, man, that's nothing. Like he was a 1st round draft pick years ago, and all you sent a 5th round, I believe, and Parker, who was a 1st round, for just 1 3rd round. I like, to me, the math doesn't add up. I don't feel like that's fair value. I think
that's usually
Patriots
what
winning that trade
organization does.
Here's my thing with it. It's like, to me, it makes no sense unless there's like their salary cap strapped and they just needed to clear the books, which it doesn't seem like that was the case, because I feel like if they did, they would have moved him before free agency started. And yeah, I don't know too much about like the reasonings why that happened, but like at least on the outside perspective, it's like, why would you get rid of him? Like, I feel like, yeah, I mean, like I'd rather have him than a 3rd round pick. you don't know what the fuck this third round pick is going to turn into. 70% of the time, they end up not ever being that great. Average at best a lot of the times. And then if you're super lucky, they end up being a superstar. But how often does that really happen? And I feel like in the situation that the Dolphins are in now, why not just have him? Like, do you really think that third round pick would be better than him? I mean, that's a huge gamble that you're willing to take. And my thoughts on Parker, it's like, like, I get what you're saying, Gabe, but I will say too, he's also like never really had a quarterback through the majority of his career. You could arguably say he probably still doesn't. He's never had another threat on the other side of him, like ever really. Like, and I think this would have been really interesting to see how he would play alongside actual weapons next to him that would help free him up. And at the end of the day, he is that one-on-one guy, like that jump ball guy you could just throw up to, and he could bring it down. Like that's kind of his specialty. Yeah, he's kind of like, I would say, like Allen Robinson, but I think Allen Robinson's better route runner than probably he is. But that idea that they're not like speed guys and they can't really get separation, but if you just throw it up to them, he's going to catch it. Like he's going to win those 1v1 balls. And I just felt like it probably wouldn't have hurt to do that, to have that red zone target I mean, I guess you still have Gesicki to do that. And, but yeah, I don't know. I guess unless his contract was just, they're so like salary cap strapped that they just needed to make space, I would have kept him. Why not just have more weapons? Why not? Like, that's my thought. And then you're going to give it to an in-division rival? Makes no sense to me.
That's
now he's going to come and play fucking Miami twice a year.
Oh my God.
In my opinion, like that trade, they got nothing in return for it. It's like, and at least you're not getting nothing in return for it. Don't give them to your opponent. Like you're going to play these guys twice a year. Like I said, I'm not really scared of Davante Parker being on the other side of the field for my team.
Matt Jones doesn't even throw the ball.
So we'll see. Again, I want to see the identity of the Dolphins. It seems like they're going small. They're going small and fast. They want small guys and fast guys. Gesicki is their biggest target they have now, and he's probably their best receiver behind Waddle. And we'll see with Tyreek Hill how
it does kind of fit that West Coast idea. I guess he wouldn't really fit in that system.
And if there's anything we know about Mike McDaniel is he hid Garoppolo behind that run game. Their run first team, he hid Garoppolo. Is he going to hide Tua? We've yet to see.
I guess my big thing is like unless they really feel good about like who they can get in the third round, that's like my only thought process is like if they feel really good who's going to be sitting there and they can go grab them. But I don't know. I just feel like I'd rather have that body there. And also, too, another thing to think of is like maybe they got rid of him, too, because you probably wanted to cut him anyways because you just felt like he didn't fit. And you're just going to like get what you can from him. Well, this is a new regime. Yeah. So, well, not necessarily. You still have Chris Greer, but like you. Yeah. But a new coaching style, a new style of offense. So like maybe you're just trying to get what you can from him before he just hits the market. It's kind of like an idea. A lot of people, that's why it's going on with the whole Metcalf and, man, who am I drawing a blank on? AJ Brown, okay. Like AJ Brown, they're talking about getting the trades for because they're all probably due really big contract extensions after this year. And maybe Seattle and Tennessee want to get what they can for him if they're not going to extend him.
Word.
Which I think, but he's still cheap. So, I mean, they could keep him for a year and then trade him next year because next year will be his last year on a contract, and maybe trade him away because you don't want to extend them anymore. I don't know. Not a big fan of Parker. Not a big fan of this trade. I feel the Pats win this, but I still think Dolphins are being competitive. We're looking up at JoJo's team, the Buffalo Bills. That's the team we need to beat. So all these moves are to beat JoJo's Buffalo Bills.
Bill Belichick is still bending you over and fucking you raw, Gabe.
Watch out for the Buffalo Bills this season and the Denver Broncos.
No, I'm not worried about Mac Jones, man. Fuck Mac Jones.
He had a great rookie season, man. Why y'all tearing the kid down? Like he didn't.
That man threw 3 passes in one game.
Oh my.
And even then, Bill Belichick was pissed that he threw him. Like, if you look at that game, I'll never forget that game. He did 3 passes against the Bills.
Bro, that was
anyways, another news around the league. Stephon Diggs is staying 4-year, $104 million. How do we feel about
Stephon Diggs? Well deserved. This is their shot, man. I'm glad they kept the guy. Josh Allen definitely need that weapon. They already have that chemistry, and keep the ball rolling. They're one win away over the Chiefs. You got to get over the hump. That's their kryptonite right now. Patrick Mahomes, man.
Yeah.
They got to get over the hump, and that's a Super Bowl team right there.
I feel like they still need one more piece. And also I'm a little surprised because I thought I heard maybe it was somebody else, but I thought they were saying that Diggs wasn't liking the situation where he was in right now. Maybe it was just, but now he got his money. He's happy now. But yeah, I don't know. Bills is one that I'm kind of surprised they didn't really do much in the free agency besides signing Von Miller. I thought they would have got one more weapon. I still feel like they need it. Like they're still a really good, just dominant team, but I still feel like they need that one more guy. And I don't know if they get that in the draft or maybe late in a trade or what. But yeah, keeping Diggs is huge. Giving Josh Allen that safety net that he is could really benefit him. Even though last year was a little bit of a down year for him, we saw what he can do when he is on fire, which was 2 years ago.
The thing is that when you have a great season like that, and you set the standard that high, like a season 2 years ago, it's kind of hard to follow up with that, right? You can have an okay year, and it's still not going to look as good as your best. Key thing, obviously, NFL is to be consistent, but who knows? Was that his peak year? Can he do it again? Well, this is his chance to find out with his quarterback.
Yeah. Because you saw a lot of moments last year where Josh Allen was just running it because they just felt like they had nowhere else to go. And they still need a true running back over there. I feel like they still need a true tight end. I feel like there's still holes they could be, but Josh Allen's just so good and knows how to make it work that they still win games. I mean, look, last year they had that, unless they really believe in some of the guys that they already have that can continue to develop. I mean, that dude in the playoffs scored 4 touchdowns? I don't even remember his name. He was non-existent in the NFL, bro. And now all of a sudden he dropped 4 in that playoff game, which was insane. So unless they have some faith in some guys that are already there, that can further that development.
Yeah, I feel like they're a couple pieces away, and there's still some moves they could possibly make. What's interesting to me is the Metcalf move because Metcalf could be traded, but he is going to be a big ass contract if he tries to resign. But to get a year of Metcalf, can you imagine Josh Allen, Metcalf, and Stephon Diggs? Come on, bro, that's crazy.
Dude, the Metcalf talk is so hot right now.
It's possible, man.
Because I think he's moving. He's definitely moving.
Just lost his quarterback. He has no reason to stay.
Yeah, me and Gabe kind of briefly mentioned it last week, but I kind of, because there's just more shit coming out about it, and now it's AJ Brown's coming out about AJ Brown on the trading block, and it's what, man, these two are two big body dudes who can fucking fly, and it seems like Seahawks are going full rebuild, and they don't want to give him a big contract for a team that's trying to figure things out. Final year, bro, I would give up first rounder for him. Shit, I mean, why not? This guy is going to be way more productive, at least off rip, than a first round pick would be.
Yeah,
you're getting a guaranteed, proven guy who's a literal freak of nature.
He's a game changer, bro. He's a game changer,
and somebody's going to grab him. I think somebody's going to do it. Shit, I hope it's my team. But I don't know if that's going to happen. But I could totally see him, the Chiefs, after all those Miami picks, going after him. Or I don't know. Somebody's doing it. Or even AJ Brown. Same goes for
What
AJ.
if he follows his QB and ends up in Denver?
Oh, I don't know.
That's something to ponder about.
Well, let's just say this: Denver has nothing else to trade. They gave.
What do they have to give? They have nothing.
They already have 3 first rounders.
We have good receivers. We're set on that.
Oh side, yeah, right? You're not trading. There's no way. There's no way you'll have.
We got good young receivers right now. We're good.
That's why it's the Chiefs. They have the most capital and the most dangerous division,
and they just lost a big receiver themselves. So why not just replace it with another, big name in the league?
I could see him going to Cowboys. I could see that. There's gonna be some moving pieces. This shit ain't done yet. It ain't done yet. It ain't done until that first snap. hits, and even then, we still don't know.
Yeah, then shit's still gonna change. Who knows?
Speaking of ain't done yet, I mean, Rob Gronkowski, not sure if he's done with football. I mean, we had this big announcement over the week. Did we talk about Bruce Arians last week? We did talk about Bruce Arians.
Yes. Yeah, we did.
That was a good transition, Gabe. I like that.
So Gronkowski, not sure if he's gonna finish the league.
Yo,
I mean, Georgia, how do you feel about Gronk?
already? Oh, I love him, bro. But like, just retire, bro. Just
how old is he?
Hang it up, dude.
Well,
he's
this guy's
retired
gonna be
twice
38
already.
years old.
He's retired twice. The thing is, Brady keeps bringing him back, and now Brady's back.
He's older than you think. He's older than you think.
No, he's actually younger than I thought. He's 32.
Oh,
but he's a big guy.
But it's the damage, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Like,
yeah, a big dude who takes a physical position,
yes,
very physical,
very physical, one of the most physical positions in the game. And this guy's proven himself as a tight end, one of the best ever. This guy has so many receiving touchdowns. This guy can block. He can run. He can catch. He's a Super Bowl champion. And because Brady, refuses to hang it up, he keeps dragging him back over here.
He's like, God,
but it's like,
what more? Tom. He's like, I just want to chill.
What more can you do? My thing is like, you're kind of already set in your ways, right? Meaning, you're not gonna get any better now. Obviously, like, Father Time is catching up, right? The physicality is not gonna change. You're just gonna go against, some of these younger guys coming into the league, and these injuries are going to catch up to you. And we're talking two different positions, right? So we're talking Gronk and Brady coming in as QB, where you got protection. Like, no, you're out in the war. Like, you're in the battle. You're in the trenches. That's Gronk. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not going to stop. So, I mean, obviously it's up to him. But I'd like to see him retire, man, because what else is there for you to do?
Yeah, man, I don't think it's worth it. Like, I think we all know, like, Gronk has had his injuries throughout the years as well. He's been injury prone his entire career. He's battled through injuries. He's still performed through them. But there's a certain point where it's just like, man, you got to start thinking about future after football. Like, you're still 32. Like, it's a physical position, man. I mean, you're getting hit up against defensive linemen, and there's a reason why O-linemen, they don't last that long. It's not very often that you see an O-lineman that hits 10 years. It's super rare. I mean, these are big guys. These are big motherfuckers, and like, that's a strain on your body and your joints and your bones and everything. It's like, this guy, he can make so much money because he's like charismatic. He's got a personality. He can make so much money like doing other shit.
Bro, he's already in commercials left and right.
And it's like he has so much opportunity off the field that he could do. And it's just like, don't risk it, man. I feel like you could just like, because you hear about these players, like when they turn 40, they can't fucking move a lot of the times, like, because they spent like so much of their career just getting fucking pummeled by other massive men. And it's just like, bro, just hang it up. Like, it's not worth it. Just
my thing is like,
quite opposite opinion.
Oh, go ahead.
No, man, listen. If you're Gronkowski, you got Tom Brady coming back, bro. You got the easy button, dog. Smack that easy button.
And that's exactly
that division is automatic. That division is automatic for you. You think Atlanta's gonna beat you? You think the Saints are competitive in that league, bro?
Mariota's gonna put in work. Playoffs. You tell me you don't believe in Jameis?
Oh, and I like Jameis.
You tell me you don't believe in Jameis or Taysom?
You tell me you don't believe in Tom Brady?
You tell me you don't believe in Taysom Hill?
You don't believe in the GOAT?
Taysom Hill?
Bro, and listen, Gabe, that's exactly what I was going to say. I'm like, bro, I mean, who could refuse coming back to play? Brady's still playing, so it's like, how are you going to say no, right? Like, you know what I mean? Automatic playoffs. Like, you automatically have a shot at a Super Bowl, no matter what. If Brady's playing, you have a chance.
One thing you could say no to is if your opportunities off the field are going to make you more money than you would be playing.
But it's about the money, though. Like, to him, like we don't know if it's about the money, right? It could be about that winning mentality, or it could be about the money. Because he's not getting the max contracts anymore in the NFL.
He's already got the glory, though. What does he have to? He's literally already reigned as the greatest tight end ever. The only person that probably comes close to him and like just status of tight ends is probably like Tony Gonzalez. Like, and
Eric
even then,
Dickerson?
I think Gronkowski's had a better career than Tony Gonzalez. Even though Tony Gonzalez was great, Gronkowski
Was
broke
Shannon
multiple
Sharp?
records.
Was Shannon Sharp a tight end?
Yeah, with
Yeah.
John Elway, I believe. Yeah.
You got to
Yeah, he was
throw him
good.
in there too. You got to three
Yeah,
times.
that's what I'm saying. The
Super Bowl
duos. That, as far as tandem teams, it was Mike and
I mean, Shannon Sharp was a Hall of Famer. He's great, but
Yeah,
I
he's
don't
a Hall
think
of
he was
Famer.
at the. I don't think he was at the level of Gronkowski. Gronkowski broke multiple records as
Shannon Sharp was good. Shannon Sharp was.
He was good, yeah,
He's
but
legit.
I think we're sleeping on how good Gronkowski was. Like Rob
Well, that's what I'm
Gronkowski
saying.
was literally Jerry Rice of the tight end position. Like he's
I
broken
think
everything.
Gronk is going for glory, man. He's playing against ghosts, man. People who don't play anymore. I mean, he's playing against.
He's playing against ghosts that he already beat. Like
exactly. So you got to solidify that, man. You got to solidify that thing. As long as Tom Brady, listen, long Tom Brady says,
here's what
I could picture happening. Here's exactly what I could picture happening. He barely plays throughout the whole season.
Facts.
He gets right towards the end of the playoffs, and all of a sudden he pulls like fucking 2 touchdowns, and then he's going into the Super Bowl. Just like his Super,
just all the credit.
Just like in the Super Bowl year. The Super Bowl year. I mean, he had a decent year, but like, and then when the Super Bowl hit, I think he had 3 touchdowns catches. I was like, where the fuck was this all year? Like he like I said, he was decent, but like
smart. You conserve your energy. You play smart. You save your body. They use them when they need to use them. Let the young guys get their running, because if they don't need them in the game to win, and Brady and everyone's doing all the work, then hey, that's a win-win. Then go ahead. It's playoff time.
Was he hurt often last year?
I don't really remember. I want to say he was, because he didn't play that much.
I want to say too. I don't remember. I remember the first season he played quite a bit. I remember that. I don't think he really got hurt his first season in Tampa, but last season for some reason I cannot remember how much he got hurt.
Julie, let me ask you about their receiving, because when over the past couple of weeks, Tom Brady says he's going to retire. He retires. Bruce Arians says he's going from the head coaching to the front office. And immediately when I heard Bruce Arians is going to the front office, I'm like, yo, Antonio Brown's coming back. Because if Tom Brady's coming back, Tom is bringing Antonio.
No
I think we talked about it a little bit.
Because Bruce Arians is still in the building. He's not coming back.
I feel like he's at an even higher position of power. Now, you think he's going to let him back?
Yeah.
No, like he got promoted.
What is his role? Because he's not the GM.
I think he's GM. I don't know if he's a GM, but I think he's
like player personnel or something like that. Because he's definitely not the GM. The GM's still there. Way.
Listen, there's a rumor flowing around that Antonio Brown. He was at the Heat game last night with your boy Floyd Mayweather. He's been in Miami quite often these last few weeks. So maybe he's trying to get scouted by the Dolphins, perhaps. Maybe he'll get picked up over here in South Florida. What do you think about that? I think
Antonio Brown just needs to retire, dog. Like
hey, he got his ring, man.
It says, so official word is Bruce Arians is working alongside the GM. So he's a GM assistant.
He's like an assistant, yeah. But man, Antonio Brown just needs to retire, man. Like something's not right up here. I don't know, like something's not right. I don't know if it's just the years of just getting hit in the head constantly.
Hey, like, to him, he's normal.
But no, like for real, like I'm not even like bullshitting. That's like a thing that genuinely happens to a lot of players, where like before, like as the years gone on, they start doing like, I mean, we've seen like a lot of these players like kill themselves at relatively young ages, like in the late 30s and like things like that. I mean, I don't know exactly what's going on with him. I'm just saying, like, throwing it out there, like, it could be possible. Like, just taking hits in the head, bro, like, that can fuck some people up and do some crazy shit, man.
You know what's crazy? And I'm not, like, disagreeing with what you're saying, but I feel like there's this narrative in the NFL where if you're one of those players that stand out or do erratic shit, there's automatically something wrong with you. Like, and you can see with players from the past, like, I don't know.
Bro, this isn't like a one-time thing, though.
Or like some of these big name players, or even like a Cam Newton, like some of these guys that stand out or anything. It's always like, oh, what's wrong?
Okay,
no, I'm
there's
not
a difference. I was gonna say there's a difference between those guys. Those guys just had egos. There's a difference between that and the shit Antonio Brown's been doing throughout and it's multiple occasions. Like the thing with Cam Newton, Ocho Cinco, and T.O., they just had egos. They were just like flashy play. The shit Antonio Brown's doing is just like, what the fuck is you like? What are you doing, man? Like it's just like it's like something's not right. Like what is going on? Like like I think there's a difference between ego and just doing dumb shit. Like there's two different.
All right, fair point. I'll leave it at that. That's a fair point.
Let's transition. Flag football Olympics. I didn't hear about anything about this. Julian, you put this in our
Wait, is this
topic sheet.
what's going on with this?
So
flag football Olympics.
Okay, so the NFL is actually making an effort because NFL is trying to increase their international brand and trying to expand football international. This is one of the ways they want to do it. In 2026, the Olympics are going to be hosted in Los Angeles, and is it 2026? No, 2028. I think 2028 because the Olympics are 2020, then it's 2024. Yeah, 2028. Or maybe it's 2024. I don't know. Whenever the U.S. hosts the Olympics, sometimes this decade, that they're hoping they want to include flag football into it to help increase the reach of football. Obviously, I also think, and I was hearing a good bit on it. It's like this is literally just the U.S. just guaranteeing themselves another gold medal. Because it's just another way to puff those numbers up of gold medals.
Could you imagine?
Because who in the hell is going to compete with the United? Maybe Canada. Canada's the only one because they're the only other country that plays football. That's the only country that could somewhat compete with the U.S. And even then, I don't even think their talent pool is nearly as big as ours. And I'm because a lot of the Canadian players are American. A lot of them.
And you don't have to be an NFL player to compete in that, right? Like you can assemble.
I'm sure there's some contract things that you can't perform. Like they don't want you.
But I'm just saying, like,
no NFL.
Could you imagine like LeBron playing flag football with just
any motherfucker out there,
6'7" athlete just running around, running routes, catching. Like
there's no corner tall enough to cover him,
bro. It's going to take. And I get the idea for it, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea. But man, it will take generations for any countries to catch up. But I mean, it's like that for a lot of sports. It's taken a lot. I mean, shit. I mean, we talk about like United States.
We were scared for basketball for a minute.
Look, I mean, basketball is slowly on the rise international. Even here in the United States with soccer. It's been taking generations to catch up to the rest of the world and Europe, and they're slowly getting there. They're getting players over there. This is supposedly the golden generation of United States soccer. We have more players playing in top leagues all around the world than ever before. So, it would take a long-ass time, but this is going to be a guaranteed gold for at least the next, 15 Olympics. It's going to take a long-ass time. Well, but I do think there's going to be some country out there that's going to be like, main focus is going to take on flag football United States. There's going to be some random ass country like Uzbekistan or some shit.
I'm calling it now. It's going to be Australia. I'm calling it now.
Yeah. I mean, I will say this. You might find some players that some athletes, that maybe couldn't make it in their sport and transition over to something maybe there's track guys that weren't fast enough to make it on the track team. And maybe they go try out flag football or rugby guys. There's rugby, you could probably transition pretty well. But there's going to be some country out there that's going to take that shit mad serious, though. I guarantee it. They're just going to all they do.
United States flag football. They're coming for the title for that first gold.
Yeah, I mean, think about the Olympics. There's a lot of sports that is just pretty much guaranteed gold medals for these countries because nobody else fucking plays it.
They're just so good. Yeah.
And nobody else plays it. And this is the United States chance to have that sport. Even though we've had basketball forever, no one's ever touched us and probably still won't for at least a good amount of years. Now we're adding another one. Let's go football. And this also brings me to another question. What other sport would you like to see that's like that? Adding flag football. Would you like the idea of flag football in there? And then also, what other sport you would like to see in there that probably isn't already in there?
I definitely like to see flag football. I played flag football. It's pretty dope. It's fun. And I feel not in the sense that anybody can learn how to play, because, you kind of can. But, taking out the parts where, the hitting and the blocking. Well, essentially, it's still going to be blocking in there, but it's different from like pads and all that. Yeah, contact, exactly, full on contact. Like that changes the game a little bit because you don't have to be a 280-pound lineman in flag football.
It's going to be a lot more about speed.
Yeah, it's going to be about speed. It's gonna be about strategy. And it's going to be about having a good set of hands, to play. And I think that's what it's going to come down to.
I will say that's going to be the hard thing that other countries are going to have to pick up if this becomes a thing, is like just strategy alone.
You got to be able to catch.
Think about these coordinators, even in college, like even low level college. These guys get paid like hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars to like literally strategize and spend all day, all night, every single day of their fucking life strategizing against defenses or defenses strategizing against offenses, and all this knowledge is passed down through generations. Like for these other countries to catch up, they're going to have to either poach some Americans to like help strategize things or something, because like that would be one thing, not even athleticism, because there's going to be athletes all over the world, but like just that pure strategy. And also people growing up playing that sport. That's because, I mean, obviously here we have kids that from little kids, they play football their entire lives. You're going to have to wait for that to happen in these other countries for a little kid to watch the flag football Olympics and want
to play.
Yeah. And then grow up to do that.
One day they'll make the U.S. I mean, not U.S., whatever country they're from, Olympic team to play flag football.
Bro, who would you want as quarterback?
For flag football?
Starting quarterback for the
give me Josh Allen.
And they can't be in the NFL right now. They can't be in the NFL.
They can't
right
be in
now.
The NFL? Damn. I'm trying to think.
I got my answer.
What you got?
Johnny Manziel.
Wow.
Johnny Manziel would fucking dice these people.
Give me Tim Tebow.
I'll take Kaepernick.
Tim Tebow. Somebody said that too. I heard somebody say that too. Yo, Tim Tebow would dice these people up.
Give me Tim Tebow. The heart and spirit of a warrior. No.
Could you imagine Tim Tebow Olympian?
USA pride. He'll take that to the next level. He will take that to the next level.
I heard somebody bring that up though, but like not as a quarterback though. I was like, damn, you won't even let Tim be quarterback for the USA flag football team. I was like, damn, you're wrong for that. Not even Olympic qualifying. You don't let this man be QB, bro. I think Johnny Manziel would be awesome.
I was just gonna say the Olympics next year, 2020, or not next year, but upcoming year, it would be in Paris. The Summer Olympics will be in Paris, France.
That's pretty dope.
Winter Olympics will be in Milan, Italy, and you were correct, Julian. Los Angeles, 2028, North America Summer Olympics, with the Winter Olympics being in Brisbane.
Hey, we might have to take a trip out there. I'd like to.
Oh man, that's crazy. So 2 years. So you got 2026. You got the World Cup in the USA, and now you're gonna have the Olympics in 2028. That's pretty cool.
This will be the third time Los Angeles hosts since 1984. Last time. So
also, let's not forget, we kind of forgot about it because of COVID. World Baseball Classic should be coming soon. Hopefully, August or September this year. They'll start the qualifying rounds, and World Baseball Classic should be back.
So that's the qualifiers, but when is the actual tournament supposed to start? Like March?
There's no set date.
Usually in the.
Because it's usually in March. It's usually like early spring, like spring training time, isn't it?
Early spring.
Oh man!
All right, so
but you guys never.
What's up?
I was gonna say, like, was there any sports you guys would see that isn't in there?
I like how they did the skating this year. They added skating.
Skateboarding was dope, man.
I think it was dope. Like that was fun. How about frisbee golf? Do frisbee golf. I mean, that's very, it's golf with a frisbee. People have decided.
Not even frisbee golf. I'll be down to watch like ultimate frisbee. That could be probably pretty cool.
It's just
I'm surprised.
Flag football with a frisbee, isn't it?
I don't. Honestly, I don't. I am not educated enough in ultimate frisbee to make a disrespectful remark like that.
Wow.
Because I feel like it's one of those things. If you say that, they're like, "Wow, you piece of shit." Like you really?
I'm sorry for all our frisbee.
You're gonna get fans in the comment section talking shit to Julian.
You know what sports like that is Australian rules football. Like they fucking hate it when you call it rugby because it actually isn't rugby. It's a completely different sport. But they're like, oh, like rugby, and they're just like fucking. They'll fight you on the street. Like they'll fucking on site. Like they're just like on fucking site. Because it is. It's actually completely different.
Let's
Yo,
transition to our
Gabe,
final sports for the
word.
day because we're getting late in the podcast.
Going on in the
Over the week,
NBA.
we really haven't talked a lot about Final Four, man. Final Four has been going on. We had discussions. We had a prediction. We had a bracket going on. We had a little group chat going on. Who did good in the bracket? Like Jojo, you shaking your head. I don't think you did good in that bracket, bro. Did you
Yo,
have this Final Four
let
going on?
me let me get my spiel out of the way here. First
UConn,
off,
they
I
finished
had
early.
I had UConn winning the whole tournament. You guys might think I'm delusional. We didn't even win the Big East title. But I'm telling you, I looked at our side of the bracket. We were actually placed very well, and we were the 5th seed. We went against 12th seed New Mexico State, and I forgot homeboy's name on that team. But Buddy dropped 37 points on us and just smoked the whole UConn squad just to lose in the next round. But I was actually devastated. He did not miss. I'm telling you, I'm like, there's a young Steph Curry out here. This guy shot 3 or 4 threes way beyond the arc, fade away. He was knocking down mid ranges. I think there was 12 or 13 free throws that game. This solo player shot every single free throw. No one else on that team shot a free throw or got fouled. Can you believe that?
Insane.
Damn.
So
Out.
they went against New Mexico. All right, so New Mexico State beat UConn. Yes, they had the upset. The next round, they had Arkansas, got
Correct.
smoked by Arkansas. Arkansas then played Gonzaga and beat the number one overall ranked team in the tournament in the nation. They beat Gonzaga. So the whole time I'm looking at my UConn team thinking that could have been us because I literally saw that happening. We could have got by New Mexico State. Unfortunately, it's March Madness. Literally, the madness happens. We saw Kentucky go down in the first round. Shout out to the Peacocks. But could have easily beat Arkansas. Could have got to Gonzaga. That would have been a game. And if we beat Gonzaga, it would have been UConn Duke in that round. And that would have been something to watch. But, just like every other team that lost, we're going to say, we'll be back next year. But go ahead, Julian. Go ahead. We're going to talk about your UNC.
Yeah, talk about your UNC, bro. I know you got to come in here with UNC. UConn, they lost early.
The Hubert era has begun.
This guy.
And I am back watching UNC basketball. I'm back.
Julian's back.
For people who don't know, I grew up my entire life ever since I was a little kid was a diehard UNC Tar Heels fan. That was like my dream school I always wanted to go to. But the past few years, they've been non-existent. They've been barely getting into the bracket. Some years they didn't even get into the bracket. It's just been a down pretty much decade. They haven't been that great. Not at the status that people expect them to be at. Like you think of UNC, you think of a historic program. They should be fighting for a championship every single year. And, they lost me for a little bit. And then I saw this year, they were like kind of run-of-the-mill team. Then I saw they got into the bracket, the 8th seed. I'm like, all right, like you probably make it to the Sweet 16. Let's see what happens. And then they make it past the Sweet 16. I was like, oh shit, we're in the Elite 8. Then you got to face the red hot Cinderella team, St. Peter's. That was slight work. Then you went on.
Kind of saw that happening.
then I was like, all right, now you're getting the St. Peter's nice run and all, but like now you're about to get big dicked. Calm down. Like, so then we went to the Final Four, where we went to face one of the biggest rivalries across all sports: UNC versus Duke, the Battle of North Carolina. The first time they've ever met in March Madness in the national championship bracket. And we fucking gave them that work. And I hope Coach K goes and fucking retires knowing that he lost to the one team that they tell you not to lose to every single year. And I don't feel like he's going to retire now because of who he lost to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think he's retired, bro. He's not going on 2 L's.
I'm glad.
He's not going to leave on 2 L's.
I'm glad. And we had 2 coaches out there. I swear, Roy Williams retired, but that motherfucker was out there every single game, right behind the bench.
He's still a fan,
right behind the bench. He was right. He was fucking right there, dude. He was coaching, bro. I'm telling you, that man was coaching.
Man, so listen, there was a lot of great games. A lot of great games this tournament. Like, there's too many to speak on. But that UNC Duke game, we're talking 18 lean changes. Eight
The pressure.
Bro.
18
pressure.
changes in
I think,
that year.
and then I think this leads it perfectly to the national championship game because that's where they ended up eventually going after they beat Duke. They went on an incredible run in the first half. It's got almost, I think, at one point a 20-point lead. And man, they came into the second half and just absolutely fell apart. Everybody was fucking rolling their ankles, dude. I swear, everybody got hurt. Everybody got fucking hurt. Everybody's ankles got fucked up. They couldn't stay still, and Kansas just capitalized on it. They got the lead up, and then it started bouncing back and forth. And then, man, it was just I don't know how much injuries played a factor into it, but it seemed like, man, I saw a lot of limping UNC players that game. There was just a lot of rolled fucking ankles that
Yeah,
game.
you know
And
what
I'm
this
like,
sounds like,
Jesus.
right?
Excuses.
Yeah.
Listen,
At least we made it. We made it to the
I'll give you
championship.
that. I'll give you that. But I'll give you that, right? So congrats to you guys. Now that Julian's back watching college basketball, let's clap it up for
I'm
Julian.
back.
Because
You know what?
the amount of conversations I try to
Thank
have
you,
with him
Julian, for
about
coming
college
back to
basketball,
sports.
he would just shit on college basketball. But now he has awoken thanks to this March
I am
Madness
back.
tournament, right?
College basketball used to be like my number one. You know how like NFL is my thing, but like at one point, like I watched college basketball religiously. I knew every player, I knew every program, I knew everything. Now that UNC is back, I'm back. Hubert era, we're there. Man,
All
by the
right,
way,
let's
did you
go.
see that
I'm all for it.
Superdome? That
Yeah,
Superdome
man.
was fucking.
Oh yeah, they had
It
a
was
football stadium. It was
huge,
in
bro.
Louisiana.
I saw an
They always do
aerial
it in a football
view. I
stadium.
saw an aerial view. It was like POV watching a basketball game
In a football
in
stadium.
a football stadium, which was ridiculous. Like, oh, that was
Yeah,
insane.
because you don't realize too, because they like
something.
yeah, because they add like ramps, so like it covers that part where the field would be to kind
Yeah,
of reach the court. Yeah, they always do it in football stadiums, like Indianapolis. I think they did last year. Indianapolis is a very popular place. They do it because
they
obviously
usually do it in
Indiana,
Indianapolis.
because Indiana is such a big college basketball
But there are no
area,
fans
and
last year, unfortunately, for the tournament. But yeah,
and
and it's crazy.
Yeah.
Let's talk real quick. UNC, yes, you guys did amazing. You also had a whole stacked team of fifth year seniors because they granted them an extra year of eligibility because of COVID, which I understand. Like that's fair. That's completely fair. But now you got super seniors rocking it out with these freshmen on these other teams. Like
you know, UNC they have
not
a
fair,
way. I will say UNC has a way of keeping players. Like
yeah.
they always have seniors. Like they just always.
I don't
do.
know if that's good or bad. It depends, right? You got your one and done guys, or you're two and out, right? They're good enough to go to the NBA, but then you also have these younger kids that it might take a little more time to develop, right? 3-4 years to possibly get drafted. You can look at it both ways. It could be a good or bad thing because we all know UK one and done most likely. You're in and you're out.
Yeah.
2 years max, you're in and you're out. Or even Duke. I know UNC, a lot of guys do get drafted as well. But like you said, they do a good job in keeping their players. But yeah,
I also think it's the
Kentucky,
type of
man,
players.
you
I
will
think
never
think
see the same starter in Kentucky. It's insane. Like these guys come in, true freshmen, getting drafted next year.
Kentucky has a way of recruiting like some of the best guys in the nation. When I like UNC, obviously they're getting top recruits all the time, but they like find these guys that are like, they weren't like the most sought after, but somehow they bring them in to just be like,
Yeah.
and then they just be there for a few years, develop, and they just be really good, and they never really end up becoming anything after that.
It's
Like
also
the
a
only
good
like
transfer spot. A lot of guys end up transferring there as well too.
yeah. Well, I'm curious to see if they pick up any of that St. Peter's kids. I don't know if you guys saw. There's with the new St. Peter's head
in the
coach.
portal. Yeah.
Yeah, the new coach went to Seton Hall, and now 3 just entered the transfer portal.
Yo, shout out your boy Doug. He was the MVP of the tournament. I don't care what anybody says. Put some respect on Doug's name from St. Peter's. Boy was shooting lights out. Had no fear at the free throw line. Came up clutch in multiple games. That shit was wild, bro.
See, that's the great man. I'm telling you, that's the great
That's
thing
why I
about.
love March Madness, bro. I was preaching it. I had my brackets ready. Yes, I was going all in for UConn because I really did believe in the team this year, man. We had great players that could potentially get drafted. Usually UConn has one or two guys that will make it to the NBA. But like again, it's the madness of March, and the best team could go down in the first round. The worst
And
team can
that's
make it to the Sweet 16. Listen,
And
it's
that's
all
why I
numbers
love
at
it.
this point, man. The seedings is all numbers because it really comes down to heart and determination. Who wants them more in these tournaments, right? That's
Yeah.
what it comes down to, and a little
And
bit of
that's
luck.
why I was gonna say that's why I love it so much, because it's just one of those. It's like, to me, it's the only like thing where like people can really make a name for themselves. Like, who would have thought these kids from St. Peter's had done anything? But at this one tournament, they were able to show up on the world, like the nation's stage, and like just ball out. And now their lives are changed, hopefully for
Yeah,
the better. And it's just cool to you see programs like we said, like last year, or Robert, like those programs are changed forever because people are going to know those names now.
in fact.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of weird because all these, you always look for surprise teams and Cinderella stories, but the Final Four ended up being like traditional basketball schools, right? It's like these are top teams that we've heard of before. So it is exciting. It's exciting. It was exciting. I don't think UNC. I think it's still y'all didn't win the big chip, whatever, but I still think y'all got two wins over Duke. Like y'all forever can talk shit about Duke. You know what I mean? It's not a loss. Like y'all
Coach
lost
K's
like,
final
right?
game. Coach
That's a
K's
fact,
final game.
bro.
That'll be
Listen,
held over Duke fans for the
that was
rest
the
of their
time
life.
for redemption, and they didn't get it done. This was the
Yeah.
one time they could have redeemed themselves for that last
The
game.
greatest
People paid
coach,
more than $20,000 to go to Coach K's last home game.
bro.
They lost.
Probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest coach in basketball history across professional and college. And we ended his career losing to his biggest rival. Like, that's like, you can't write that up any better as a UNC
Yeah, man.
fan, and you can't write that up any worse for a Duke fan. Like, that's
I love the spice. I love the spice. Very spicy. Let's transition over to NBA. This will be our final topic. Let's talk about NBA. We'll close it out here.
NBA roundup.
It is official. The Los Angeles Lakers are out of contention. They are eliminated from the play-in, which lets the play-in was a thing they invented during COVID, to try to get teams to make it more competitive, add more teams to the playoffs. Lakers have been eliminated. We have our biggest fan, Jojo. You haven't been on here. Every week I try to talk about the Lakers, and you was like, "Hey, why you want to talk about that?" No, let's talk about the Lakers because if the media wants to talk about the Lakers, we're gonna talk about the Lakers. Jojo, what the fuck?
This was the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen. This is more embarrassing than Coach K losing to UNC twice and his retirement season. Like, this is 1,000% more embarrassing than that. There's no excuse of what happened. Like, forget the old folks home team that you got, that they gathered. There's still enough young players on the bench to make the playoffs. The playoffs. You're telling me
The play in, dude. The fucking play. They made it easier.
You're telling me this team was not capable of getting past the Pelicans? Like, there's nothing to say here, bro.
Bro, they made it easier. They made it easier from them to get in, and they still couldn't.
To say. It obviously is a disappointment. I feel bad for LeBron because he put the team on his back. And when you're in LA and you're performing that way, you're put under a microscope. Hence why we've seen day by day, we are literally dissecting every single game they've played. Every game they won, every game they lost, especially the ones that they lost. Why did they lose? How did they lose? Why are they this bad? How come LeBron didn't make this free throw in the first quarter? Now they lost the whole entire game. Like, literally saying the most random shit on why they lost, putting the blame on LeBron, putting the blame on this person, in which I get, but like, LeBron played the best he could play at his age. There's nothing more to it. Is he responsible for gathering this team together? Partially, yes. He is not a GM. We make the jokes that he is, but he is not solely responsible for putting that team together. 2, all of the injuries. That was ridiculous.
Bro,
right?
39 different starting lineups.
And 3, I really don't want to put the blame all on this guy, Russell Westbrook, but this was not the year to have the worst season of your career. This was just not it. Like maybe, you're getting ready for retirement, your numbers could dwindle down, that's cool. But for you to go from MVP caliber for the last few years to like one of the worst seasons ever, like it was for him like the worst season he's ever had.
Yeah.
Like numbers wise and all, like probably better than his rookie season and all. But
Bro,
the standard he set, like that's you can't do that, man. Like doesn't matter what team you're on. Like the chemistry, you can blame this, you can blame that. It was just the performance, the turnovers, the missed shots, like the
Bro, when
layup.
I saw 39 different starting lineups, that's just wild to me. Like that is so many different starting lineups. That is insane. And you can't help to think like you have to blow it up. Like you have to. You have to get rid of everything. I think who do you keep?
You keep. You can't. They can't do anything. You keep. They
I'm
can't.
talking about
make any
offseason.
moves.
You can move them. Bro, you
Listen,
can move.
man.
You can't move shit. I think
you're somebody some desperate motherfucker is going to go out there and they can make moves.
Westbrook has
someone's going to trade for
Westbrook is going to opt in. They don't have any draft pieces. They traded all their shit. They traded Kuzma.
Well, yeah,
they traded KCP. They traded Harrell. They traded all their. The LA Lakers are terrible at defense. Terrible at defense. And the fact that Westbrook has a bad year, bro, you're stuck. This is a team. This is a team that LeBron James constructed, and it seems like they're going to be stuck for another year with this. They're going to roll back the same team. It's just going to be a year older. They're not going to be competitive.
I agree that I think they're probably not going to move, but should they? Yeah, I think they should definitely blow it up. I think you do whatever you fucking can just to get rid of,
buy out.
Everybody.
They're going to buy out people's contracts.
You can find trade partners. Like it's the NBA. I think you can find people if you work hard enough. I think you'll find some trade partners.
They don't have any leverage, bro. They'll have big ass contracts that people are probably going to sign. Like they have to pay for. Either the Lakers pay for it or the team they trade them to.
I think even if you pay for it and you move them, you got to move them. You got to move pieces, man. You can't. You can. Los Angeles is one of those places where they expect championships. They expect a competitive team. You got, even if it means buying them out or you cannot tell that fan base that next year you're going to roll out this same squad. Like you just can't do that. Like you got to do whatever you can. You got to move LeBron. You got to fucking move Westbrook. You got to move pieces, bro.
Could happen. That could happen. I mean, Joji, how do you feel about LeBron?
I think they should.
LeBron's going to be a Laker next year, or they're going to move some stuff around? Like,
is it next year like his last year in his contract with them?
That's what I'm saying, man. He's going to be gone, bro. He's going to go back to Cleveland when his son gets drafted.
More than likely. Which is
do you feel like he's going to stay?
One more season, yeah, I definitely think he's gonna run it back with that same team. They're probably gonna get rid of like Melo, Dwight, all the old heads on that squad, old folks.
I doubt there's no way that GM is that stupid. There's no way the front office is that dumb that they sign these guys to contracts that they can't get out of. Like I don't buy that. I don't buy that they sign like fucking Dwight Howard to a contract that they just can't get out of. There's no way they're that stupid. Like there's clause in these things. Like I'm sure, I don't know the details of their contracts, but I guarantee you they can get out of, if not all of them, a good amount of them. There's no way you sign that many old guys and you're like fucking guaranteeing them for years. Like you have to blow it up. Like I rather suck knowing that we got rid of all this shit and just a rebuilding phase than fucking suck and have rolling out these motherfuckers again. Like I would not do that.
My prediction: expect AD to stay. AD is going to be around. He's the youth. He's the future of the Lakers.
I think he's the one that's
Westbrook is going to be there next year. He's going to opt in. No way you're going to turn down money if you have a player option. Why would you turn down free money? Like you're guaranteed it.
I'm talking about
I would like to get.
I'm talking about like trades. Yeah, I mean, but I'm talking about like trades specifically.
Oh, LeBron might get traded, bro. LeBron.
I can see LeBron and Westbrook getting traded. I can see AD staying.
Listen.
I think AD staying.
They will not voluntarily trade LeBron. You would be ridiculous to ever get rid of the nuclear option, bro.
You got to put the nuke on that one.
And here's the thing. He played extremely well. If LeBron had an off season,
he had a good season.
Of that, if he had an off season, part of that losing team, maybe they'd consider it.
But he's not a building piece, dude. Like you said, he's probably like, if he plays again, he's going to play one more year and then he's gone. Like, do you really want to hold on to that? Get what you can from him. Like, get what you can from him. Move him. We talked about this in the NFL.
they won't do that.
And financially,
guarantee they won't do
these
that.
guys got to sell. They got to sell
I would
tickets. They got to
get,
sell season tickets.
dude. I would get what I fucking can and just because he's not a building block for the future. He's not going to be here 2 years from now. Get what you fucking can out of him and just move on. Like I think it was a failed. I guess you wouldn't say it's a failed experience because they won a championship, but at least this year was a failed experiment. Like it didn't work out. And why would you want to keep on holding on doing the same thing? If I was a Laker fan, I'd be like, fuck it. Like blow this shit up. Like move. Like I said, I can see KD and I can see you keeping KD and Westbrook. I mean, AD and Westbrook, not KD. AD and Westbrook, because you can definitely build off AD, but like, and potentially Westbrook. But everybody else needs to fucking go. Like you just need to move.
And
Get rid of all these guys.
I'll be honest. After that championship, I think they were they were in the play-in last season. Got in.
They missed the year before. They missed the year before, and then they went.
Were they a 7 or an 8 seed when they lost to the Phoenix Suns?
They were lower. Let me look that
in
up.
the first round.
I think 8.
And they lost.
I don't think they were 7
in the first round, and then now they lost to the Suns again to be eliminated from playoff contention. Honestly, it failed season overall.
I think you move on, man. I think you move on. Get what you can get.
Yeah. Now let's transition from the worst in the West to the best in the East. Gabe, how are you feeling about the Heat right now?
Oh man, you
still number one in the
I've been wearing this culture shirt. I don't want to point it out, but hey guys, if you're watching on YouTube, culture shirt all day. Here's the thing. The Miami Heat, they've been on fire. The past couple weeks,
that's how you build a fucking team, by the way. Yes, that's how you build the team.
Listen.
They won by like 25 or 30 last night against the Hornets, too. Yeah. Dropped 140 points on them boys.
There was a scuffle, a kerfuffle. People being like, oh, Miami Heat. They had a little fight on the side. Udonis Haslem and JB get into it. I'm talking about Jimmy Butler.
Why is this man still on the team? Why is this man still on the team?
Listen, man. Listen.
Just make him a coach.
Culture is
Save the spot. Just make him a coach. Save the fucking player spot.
Miami Heat, they bounced back. They had 4 really bad games because they played like the Nets, they played the Celtics, they played the Knicks. They lost 4 really bad games. It seemed to bounce back. I feel like going forward, one of the things we probably have to manage is just like health, just like getting guys rested enough to go into the playoffs. Mm-hmm. But the Heat been playing well, man. They had a fantastic season. They had a little bump in the road. It was a little bumpy, coming back off of All-Star Weekend. But I feel like we're in a good position. We're in a good spot.
Everybody's relatively healthy.
We made some changes. We sat down Duncan Robinson. We put in Max Strus. Max Strus is shooting lights out right now. So as far as Miami Heat going forward in the playoffs, I feel like we're in a good spot. As of right now, as presently contended, I believe the Miami Heat should be able to play. I think they're set up to play the Nets because the Nets are still kind of in that play. They're like in the 8-9 seed. I have to look it up again. But Miami Heat, man, I feel like this is a good year. It is tough because a lot of, nobody's talking about the Bucks. Nobody's talking about the Nets. 76ers are like, man, they're off to the side somewhere. But I feel as a first round, if we're as presently contended, if we play today, we would play the Nets. I feel like we're in a good spot because the Nets have 0 defense. There's a lot of talk of maybe, the Nets playing possibly the Raptors because it would be weird. Of the leveling because we kind of dropped for a little bit. We went to like 4 seed and we tied up. So Miami Heat, we're in a good spot. I feel like we're good. We're good for the first, second round. We're gonna be solid. We're gonna be solid going forward. I don't know how many Heat games you were watching, JoJo. But yeah, we should be good going forward towards the playoff. I feel good about it.
All I gotta
say
is, man, you don't want to see the Nets in the first round, bro. That's all I gotta say.
Really? Wow.
You don't want to see the Nets in the first round.
Wow.
Listen, with the potential matchup of having KD and Kyrie on, it just takes 2, bro. Listen, I understand the defense.
And Ben Simmons.
He's ruled out for the rest of the season. But you don't listen. You don't want those problems. You don't want to go through that in the first round and go down a game or 2 early on, and then now you're fighting back. Let's say they go ahead and get lucky and win a close game or 2 because they're a high-powered offense. Kyrie could go off for 40. KD could go off for 40. Who's going to stop them if they're playing at their best? This is worst case scenario. If those two players are playing at their best, there's nothing you can do, man.
I will say, yeah. I mean, I agree with JoJo to an extent. Like, yeah, you don't. That's probably the one team you don't want to play. They're probably the scariest 8th seed.
Yeah, that's what
I can think of in recent history.
That's scary.
Let's be real.
What's scary?
They're not a true 8th seed. They're not like, if they were healthy, they had Kyrie all year. If they didn't have all the other drama with the James Harden stuff, if they were like together, which it seems like they're starting to be coming into this playoffs.
Kyrie dropped 40 the other night.
They're not an 8th seed team. They're not an 8th seed team.
So statistically, I think they're giving up as far as points allowed. I think they're giving up like 112 points a game on average. 112.
I get that.
So they're not playing any goddamn defense. Yeah, you want to be scared about the offense? Okay, let's talk about offense.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day,
as well.
Yeah,
I think at the end of the day, you still like, it's worrisome because you have two of like one of the best players in the NBA right now on that team that you're going to be potentially matching up with very early into the playoffs. I just don't feel like you want to go against that. Like you don't want to go against KD. KD's one of the greatest players in our generation. Like, do you really want to go against? Yes. But I do think Miami has way more depth. I think they're the better team, and I think Miami should win it.
Absolutely. Miami is the better team overall right now, and they're showing for it. The bench, the starting roles, everyone knows their role, the hustle, the heart.
Look, Miami,
there's always that factor playing against those two. Again, any given night, one of these guys can go for 40 plus.
And here's my thing too, like, I think it's kind of cool to see, like, you're starting to see, like, if you try to, because, you know, like, pretty much like these past, like, 10 to 15 years, there's been such this large influx of, like, big free agents moving. People don't really stay with their teams anymore and all. But, like, you're starting to see, like, you know, if you actually build and develop your own players, it really comes into fruition. And we're seeing it with Miami. We're seeing it with Phoenix. We're seeing it with the Jazz. You've seen it with the Bucks. Like, I think we're finally starting to come into this era where, I mean, we've seen it even with the Golden State. Like, all those guys are Golden State guys. Like, they've been there their whole time in the league, and we're starting to see, like, you know. And then you look at you look at the Lakers, and you look at the Nets, and they're a team that didn't do that. They put all their money and all their baskets to these free agents, and it's not panning out. And I think that's how you build a team, is like what these guys are doing. You build your players, you draft your players, you keep them, you develop them, and then you make free agents moves when it's necessary, like the Heat did this offseason. And it's just working because you have that depth now, which is so important. And then you have your star players that you can rely on when you need them the most. And that's why, like, I think you're going to see a Bucks Heat matchup for the Eastern Conference Finals. The Nets are scary, and I wouldn't be surprised if they can beat the Heat in the first round.
Yeah,
but the Heat should win. They're just they have too much talent on that team. They have that the Nets just don't necessarily have outside of Kyrie and
KD
and the KD.
Yo, Jojo, let me ask you a question. As far as, like, you know, your top team, NBA team, do you want to see? There's a lot of contention of, like, oh, you know, we know who the top competition is. It's, you know, the beginning of the year is like 76ers, the Bucks, the Nets. How are you, like? Is that a team that, like, with this team, I'm so confident in the Heat. Like, I'm like, yo, give me whoever. I don't give a goddamn. It can be the Knicks. It could be a lower team, mid-tier team, lower team.
I think the Knicks are in the playoffs.
I mean, last year, they barely made the playoffs. They were like 4 or 5 seed. They played Atlanta.
I don't think they're in it this year.
Atlanta. But with me, I'm like, yo, give me the toughest team. I don't care. If we got to face the Bucks in the first round, I mean, I'm highly unlikely because
set the tone. That's it in that first round and just get by. Yeah,
give me the Bucks. Give me the top team in first round because, you know, as you get later as you get later into the stages, you have to win 16 games and people get hurt. There's injuries, whatever. And the Miami Heat actually suffered that, you know, obviously against the Lakers in that bubble year. By the way, Lakers bubble frauds.
Bubble fraud.
So, like, how do you feel, Jojo? How do you feel about in general? Like, yo, I know this team is tough. Do you want to face them in the first round? Do you want to face a tough team in the first round, or do you want to, like, have an easy road? You want to take the easy road, the little, you know, take
All right,
Reminds you of
so
Wizard
I
of
mean,
Oz, kind
look,
of easy, yellow brick road.
statistically speaking, if you're the one seed, you're always securing that because you're gonna
Yeah.
get the easiest route.
And you
Even in
get
the
home field
NFL,
advantage. Home
you want
advantage.
the bye. You getting the easiest route to the championship. Eventually, you'll play the best team there if they make it. Now, that's not saying if someone else pulls an upset early on, and now you're facing the weaker team. Hence, March Madness tournament. Got UK going on in the first round. Now you got an easy win for UNC in the Sweet 16 because UK lost instead of them versus UK. Now they got St. Peter's. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, NBA is a lot different. I'm just trying to give that comparison there. The thing is, playing the best team in the first round, it's just always risk. It's always risky, right? Now, back in the day, you're the number one seed. You're playing a team in the East that's under 500 in the first round, and that you're going for a sweep off rip. Do you really want to go to a game 7 with the Nets in the first round and see what it comes down to? But on the flip side, that's also a chance for the team to prove himself and show like, all right, we belong as the one seed. You know what I mean?
I will say this. To Gabe's point, he's like the Heat are the best team, I think, by far in the East. Like they should win it. They have the most depth or the most, and I don't think it matters, man. I don't think it matters who you face. At the end of the day, if you don't win the Heat they're a championship team. If they don't win the championship, it's a failed year. And I don't think however far you made it really matters. Like it's like if you lose in the first round versus if you lose in the Eastern Conference Finals, it's still a fail. You still didn't win the championship because you're a team that's built to win now. So like those, you're just okay. You're just delaying when you get kicked out. Like I
Yeah.
don't know. To me, it's like you can lose in the first round, you can lose in the divisional, you can lose in the championship. It don't matter. You still lost. You still didn't reach that goal. At least when you're talking about the Heat's perspective of like they're in a team that's a contender and they should their only goal should be winning it all.
Yeah.
I would disagree because going into the season, at the beginning of the year, going into the season, I considered the Miami Heat to be a mid tier team. It's 4, 5, 6, kind of the bottom. They're maybe not top 3, but bottom mid tier. Because if you look at any matchup, right? They say in the NBA, they say if you have the best player, you're probably going to win, right? If you have LeBron, you're probably going to win or whatever. So any matchup, if you look at the rosters, if you're just doing paper, we're just looking at names. Miami Heat don't have the best player on the court. They play well as a team, and they play both sides of the ball. So going to this team, I feel like they were a mid-tier team, and the fact that they've been number one for so long, they've been number one at the half, and then number one coming in, into the end of the playoffs.
Big deal.
I feel like they overachieved a little bit. Maybe they played above average of what I expected from this year. And the fact.
I will say real quick, like I don't think they overachieved. I think they are where they expected to be. Like you made moves to get better this offseason. Last year you ended on the 4th seed, 5th seed, and you went and spent money.
They were like the 6th or 7th, right? Because they played the Bucks the first round. No, the Knicks were the 5th, and the Hawks were the 4. They were the 4-5 matchup.
Well, we got bounced by the Bucks.
I mean,
got swept by the Bucks.
And mind you, too, that was a down year for the Heat because that was the year prior. They're in the finals, so it was a little bit of a down year.
Whatever.
And you can say this team now is better than the team that went to the finals. They have even more pieces than the team that went to the finals. So
I could say that.
So I think in my mind, if a worse team went to the finals, and this team I expect this team 2 years. In the future, like they should still be contenders, and if not, even be stronger because they should have spent that offseason and those years getting better, acquiring more talent, getting more players, and they did that. And to me, like this is